Yes. Yeah, we are on live now actually. Sami bhai, actually we are on live. I think Abid sir, I think we can proceed from your side to start the session. Sami bhai, actually I make you the host. Can you please unmute everyone, please? Maybe I will do it 1 minute. Ask to unmute. Yeah. Abid bhai, I think you can start. I think.
Yes, yes. We will wait for 1 minute.
Okay, fine. Samyuddin bhai, sorry that your screen was gone. Can you please again reshare the screen?
Okay, am I audible?
Yeah.
One moment, I'm sharing my screen. Yes.
Yeah, it's clear, Sami bhai. I think Haris sir, if you don't mind, can you please mute yourself?
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Sorry for that, please. Okay.
Yes. Is my voice is audible?
Yes, Abid sir. Yeah, it's very
Yeah.
clear.
Yes. 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 On behalf of Jibla Reddy Engineering College Autonomous Kurnool and Microcare Academy, I welcome uh, to all the participants for the day 2 session of 1 week international level workshop on opportunities and challenges in IT sector, going to be held from 6th March to 11th March 2023. So let me introduce today's speaker.
Recording in progress.
Yes, Abid
Yes,
sir,
yes.
you can continue, please.
Yes, yes, yes. So today our speaker are Samiuddin Sayyed. So he is from TCS and he will be engaging for us on the importance of academic projects, to how to prepare the students for their career enhancements. So uh, I would like to request our today's speaker to start the session.
Very warm good evening to all of you. I welcome you all to the day 2 of our series. Topic that we are going to discuss today is beyond the classroom, how academic projects prepare students for career success. Academic projects play a significant role in a student's life, and they are a very important and significant milestone. Welcome back again to the talk Beyond Classroom, how academic projects prepare students for career success. After gaining strong fundamental understanding of the subject and the fundamentals of the subjects that you study, various subjects throughout your engineering or your graduation, academic projects help you gain practical experience and exposure to further develop your abilities and hone your skills to convert theoretical understanding into practical solutions that solve myriad of problems. Every project is a temporary endeavor to create a unique project, service, or result. And projects are temporary and close down on completion of the work they were chartered to deliver. Every project is chartered to deliver some value proposition, some solution to burning issues, and every project brings ease to a life of the people that get impacted due to the project that you complete. So these are some of the important characteristics of a project, and your academic project results in culmination of your academic life, and your academic project is an important gap, important breach between your academic life and your professional life. Academic projects bridge the gap between academic understanding, academia, and industry. Academic projects offer a lot many benefits to the students. Academic projects help you bridge gap between theoretical understanding and practical solutions, help you develop important skills such as critical thinking, problem solving, communication, teamwork, and project management. Academic projects help you understand project management methodologies such as waterfall model and agile project management methodology, agile project development. Traditionally, we used to use waterfall model of project development, but in case of waterfall model of project development, initially everything was decided, requirements were gathered, and then resources were put to the project, and some milestones were decided, and the end product, the result of the efforts that you put in, was visible only at the end of the project development. And if there were some new requirements or some changes were considered in later stages of the project development, it was very difficult to incorporate those changes into the project. Essentially, a lot of time hours were spent, a lot of money was spent, and a lot of effort was spent on the development of the project, but at the end of the project, it was not considered to be providing the value and the very reason for which that project was developed. So industry came up with a new methodology. That methodology is called agile methodology of project development. These days, most of the projects are developed by using agile methodology. I'll explain how agile methodology works to you later on. In agile methodology, a project is developed through small increments. There is a small sprint of 1 or 2 weeks, and the whole team decides what we are going to deliver to the user within 2 weeks. And some user stories were created in that. For example, we'll provide user with a screen to enter his username and password. Second user story would be user will be able to enter will be prompted with username and password, and user will be able to enter his password and his username. Third user story would be that would be accepted and authenticated, and login will be allowed to the user. So these are small. So every project will have different, in every sprint there will be different user stories. Those user stories would be written small functionalities, and each team member will take up some of the user stories and will start working on that user story. And at the end of the sprint, maybe after 1 week or 2 weeks, depending upon the duration, they'll come together and check whether that user story is completed or not, or it has to be taken to the next sprint, or has to be kept as a backlog item. So that is how agile project methodology works. And because of this way of working, the end user knows at end of every iteration as to how the project development is progressing, and the user continues to see some value through the development effort that is going on. So that is the beauty of agile project development methodology. The reason I'm explaining this is that when you are developing a project, in the beginning itself, decide how you are going to go about your project, what is the scope of your project, what is the charter of your project, what end product or what you are going to deliver at the end, how you are going to break down work or that project into different components, and how the development will take place on the components, how these components will be put together, and how incrementally you can show that you are progressing through your project development activities. So before you start developing any project, keep end in mind and start putting your efforts. Do thorough planning. Planning is the most important part in any project development. Do extensive planning. Plan your resources, who will work on what, plan your project, plan your deliverables, plan your milestones, and then start developing your project. And in the beginning itself, see what value your project is going to deliver. We'll come to those aspects later on. So academic projects help you develop time management skills because project is a finite endeavor that comes to an end someday, that has fixed beginning and ending. No project goes on forever. A project has to be completed within stipulated frame of time, and hence that align you with the objectives and milestones of the project, and that helps you channelize your energy, efforts and resources towards achieving smaller milestones towards your end project. If you develop a project with good care, planning and considering different project management methodologies, you get a sense of time management and hence inculcate spirit of time management in you and develops that ability in you inadvertently when you are working on a project. Help you understand quality assurance processes. Any project you develop should be of great quality. Quality assurance is a very big topic. In short, in every deliverable, at every milestone, you check whether you are delivering your project or developing your project to the quality standards, industry standards, or acceptable standards to the end user of the project. So quality could be in the form of user interface, it could be intuitive, very easy to use, it could be beautiful, and also quality would be about the technical aspects of the project. Your project will be scalable. If number of users using your product or the project increases exponentially at some point in time, you should be able to accommodate that increased demand of the user. So these are some of the examples. So in case of heavy load coming in your systems, your project should not fail. All those considerations you have to define and decide in the beginning itself, so that you assure quality throughout the project development and the end product or end project that you deliver is of high quality standards, if it is comparable with the industry standards, and you should have some unique offerings which no other product ever or which is existing in the market provides. Help you gain an insight into people management skills. So when you develop a project is not an endeavor which is pursued by a single user or single person. It's a team effort. You work with people with different age, different cultures, different technical understanding, different functional understanding. Each of the team member has unique ability. When you are developing a project, you should be able to use unique skills of your team members, and through a culture of respect, collaboration and cooperation, you walk through your project and take it to completion. Once upon a time, what happened is, some students of a college developed a project, and each one of them was asked to explain what was his role in that project. So everyone explained the role, and finally there was a student who did nothing. They asked him, what role did you play in this project? He said, I sponsored parties for my team. And then there was a contention. Two of the professors were discussing, should we accept his deliverable or not? And then one of the professors said, no project completes without budget. And this person played an important role of providing budget to the project, so let's consider his contribution. So any contribution you do to the project is important. You should value and honor every contribution in the project, and through this process you inadvertently learn people management skills and you get an insight into people management skills. Let's go to the next. Again, benefits of academic projects continued. Academic projects help you explore different career paths and industries, help you make informed decisions about your future. When you develop a project, you know what technology you are using in that project. So any project is not developed in one single technology. There will be multiple technologies that you would use, and finally complete your project or deliver your project. Help you understand scope and depth of current and future industry trends. So when you develop a project, you try to use the latest technologies in your project. You will not use obsolete technologies. For example, in today's age, you wouldn't want to develop a project in Pascal or in COBOL or some language that is not very much in use as of today. So you would consider the latest in industry and you would develop your project in that technology. Or maybe you will not want to develop your project today in Visual Basic. So you'll use the latest in industry and you'll understand scope and depth of current and future industry trends when you develop your academic project. Academic projects help you gain understanding of concepts such as monolithic architecture, decoupled architecture. So when you decide the architecture of your project, it should not be monolithic, meaning in future if you want to make change to your software or some part of it, or maybe your project, it could be software project or non-software project. If you want to make to one of the components of the project, it could be civil engineering project or it could be mechanical engineering project or whatever. So if you want to make change to one single component of the project, you should be able to make change to that component. You will be able to uncouple or detach that component, and you should be able to reattach that component to make the working software or working product at the end. So help you gain an understanding in monolithic architecture, decoupled architecture, design patterns and concepts like these. Academic projects help you gaining an understanding of concepts like resource management, work breakdown structure, and project schedule management. Every project will have milestones and these will be scheduled and you will have to follow the timelines. Some of the important considerations about project management. What problem does your project solve? What problem does your project solve? And are there any pre-existing solutions for the problem you wish to solve through the project that you are developing? How your solution is going to be different from the pre-existing solution? You also have to consider whether the pre-existing solution is a proprietary solution by some organization or it is an open source solution, code of which is freely available for changes and modifications. So you have to consider whether you are going to start your development from scratch or you are going to take some open source software and build your product on top of that. There will be certain consideration, licensing considerations, whether you are going to use a licensed software, the costs associated with that, or you are going to use open source software for developing your project. So these considerations you understand through your academic projects. So all these things you have to think through and plan in the beginning of the project itself. It shouldn't happen like you are midway through your project and you think you wish you followed a different approach, different path, different technology, you decided different subject, or you tackled a different problem to be solved through your project. Your project could be of fully academic value, or it could be some project that solves a real-time or day-to-day problem of humanity. So your project is going to, whether it's a research-oriented project or it's project that solves some real-time problem. Unix development project started as an academic project and that became an operating system. Many projects, if you can see Tally, it could be Tally or it could be Windows or it could be Linux kernel development. These all projects started as academic projects and today these are ruling over the world, and even a project like Python programming language that started as a project of academic interest and that proved to be a very good and versatile language, and that's very acceptable language today. So when you're deciding which project to choose, and so also you have to think whether you will be able to complete that project within stipulated time or not, because academic projects are of very short duration. You don't have luxury of running those projects for years on end. You have to start and finish those projects in a very short time. You have to document those projects very properly. You have to get those projects reviewed through industry experts and through academic experts. And after you go ahead, you will be able to present that project as far as not as far as possible. Importantly, and very importantly, do not copy an existing software or any existing project, or just do not create a prototype and just create a documentation and show it around. The project has to be a working piece of software or a working mechanical component or a product, and you should be able to showcase that working product during your presentation. So plan your presentations also very properly. Give background of what you are trying to solve through that project, how you developed that project, how you broke down that project into different components, what are the thought process behind defining those components, how those pieces were you fit them together, and how the final product looks like, what functionalities does it offer, what is in scope of that project, what is out of scope of that project. All those considerations you have to have when you develop a project. How your project will solve problem differently. Maybe there is a product available already in the market, but that product is very difficult to use, or it's probably may be very expensive. How you develop your project in such a way that which is better than the existing project, which offers ease of use, which is very intuitive, and which is scalable, and which is free of bugs or any issues that the other product might have. What are the value adds you wish to provide through your project? So your project, if you're developing your project just the way as any existing project is developed, and there is no much value add, then your product or your project won't be considered to be of great benefit to the people or stakeholders you're planning to, or your target audience you are going to deliver your project to. Also, you have to consider who are the beneficiaries of your project, who will benefit out of your project. So whenever you start any project development, first consult the stakeholders. Who is primary stakeholders? Who is sponsor of the project? Who will be utilizing your project, and how they will get benefited out of your project, and give them a vision of how you are going to develop the project. Continuously keep in touch with them, keep communicating with them. When you are developing a project, it should not be like you start your project development activity, you form your team, you design, and you gather your requirements, you decide the components that you are going to develop, and you start developing, and you do not consult with your academic staff, professor, or any industry expert, and you are just continuing this activity on your own without giving any idea as to what's happening in your project. If there are any roadblocks, or if there are any difficulties in developing your project, bring them to the notice and attention of your academic advisor or professor very well in advance, and seek help from them and get out of those roadblocks and keep moving on. Show must go on. You shouldn't get stuck at some point in time. So you should check who you are going to benefit, who is going to benefit out of your project, and ask the stakeholders whether the project or the product that you are developing will really add value to them, and keep showing them progress as you develop your project. So keeping your stakeholders informed, communicated, and continuously showing progress to the stakeholders is very important. Schedule meetings with important stakeholders, and those stakeholders who cannot spend much time with you very frequently, have meetings with them with little less frequency, and keep them also informed about how you are progressing through your project. Check whether your project is scalable or not, meaning easily maintainable. Suppose you have to add some more functionality to your project, so can that be done? How do you decide to go about increments or versions of your project? So in each new iteration, in each new development, so additional patch, you offer some new functionality, some new feature. For example, ChatGPT came in the market, and will you be able to integrate your project with ChatGPT and offer some wow factor or some features which will enable the users to utilize new revolution called ChatGPT? Can you add artificial intelligence in your project? Can you can you reduce manual tasks in your project, and how much can you automate? So it could be feature automation, it could be automation of some functionality, or it could be automation of testing, how rigorously you test and how you automate your testing. So keep a focus on automating everything. So anything that can be automated, automate it. Something that cannot be automated, make it as good as possibly you can. So when you are developing a project, remember whether your project is scalable and easily maintainable. And then how will you manage patching? For example, you are developing an Android project and you are going to publish it on Play Store. Then think in advance whether you will be able to provide the similar features to iOS operating system, and whether you will be having some desktop version available. So in the beginning itself, you have to think of how you are going to development for iOS, how you are going to development for Android, and how you are going to provide a desktop interface to the project. So that desktop interface again will be for Windows operating system, it could be for Unix operating system, or it could be for Apple Mac OS. So you have to think how you are going to provide patches to your product running on different devices. So that strategy you have to keep in mind, and you have to decide in the beginning of the project itself. As you don't have much longer time to provide all that or develop such a universal software, at least you should make provisions, or you should have a roadmap ready as to how will you cater to the demands of different types of user in the beginning itself. Can anyone use solution with minimal or no training? That is very important. When you develop your software, people should be able to use your solution. It should be very easily installed. There shouldn't be any complexity in the way the project is installed. And then it should provide a very good help to the user for utilizing different features of the project. So developing a very good user help guide is very important aspect of any project development. So even when you are developing an academic project, create a very good playbook about your project, provide very good and very clear help steps to your users, and create a user manual. So it's not only important that you develop a very good piece of software or a good engineering product or a project. It could be civil project or it could be mechanical project, but at the same time, you should focus on creating a very great documentation, and also check whether you can provide different kind of supports, like if a mouse is not available, can your project, piece of software can be utilized just with the help of keypad, or Further still, can you offer voice? I mean, is it possible to operate your product through voice commands? So these kind of projects, the possibilities also you can think of. If you are not able to provide this kind of facility to the entire project, at least choose one feature for which you are able to give support, voice command support, and you can build that one single component which takes voice input and operates. So instead of focusing on everything putting on voice command, at least one feature which you can showcase to the end user that this is how this can be utilized, and further it can be developed to take voice input or input from artificial intelligence systems. So these kind of considerations you should have at the time of developing a project or a piece of software or any engineering product. How do you define deliverables? So when you start your project development, you decide what will be the deliverables, what increments will go through, what will be your user stories, and very important criteria is what is definition of done. You decide that you are going to offer 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 features in the next sprint, and these are the user stories you are going to address through the solution that you are going to provide in the upcoming sprint. And you complete your development, you do your unit testing, and that particular feature is now ready to be delivered or to be showcased to the end user. So what is the definition of done? When you say that the work related to that particular component or particular feature is complete, so you have to decide acceptance criteria, that is definition of done. So academic projects will help you understand how industry works, how project has to be developed, what are different project management and product management, product development and project development methodologies, how you work together as a team, how you create milestones, deliverables, and how you walk through the project, and finally how do you present your project is very important.
Feel free.
So when you give final presentation of your project, it should have introduction as to what kind of problem that your project was supposed to solve, what technology you have used, which different technologies, the pieces of technology you have utilized in your project. You have to give emphasis on how the technology stack you have chosen for developing in your project is leading technology stack in the industry, or why the technology that you are using is better than the other possibilities that you could have explored at the time of developing your project. Then you should have very good documentation, you should have very beautiful and intuitive user interface, and you should be able to practically show what value your project offers to the end user, what problem your project solves, and what could be the future additions to the project that you have developed. When you are developing your academic project, don't think that it is a temporary endeavor and it is a mean of fulfilling an academic expectation and getting credits. Think that your project, which is an academic project, could result into a research project and could impact humanity at scale. Always you start very small, but remember your project is going to have a huge impact on humanity, or is going to solve a burning problem or issue, and is going to make life easier for the people around you. So these were some of the considerations, and if you do this and follow this methodology and put your heart and mind to the project development, and you finish your project and project it at the end with confidence, this will take you very long in your career and in your life in industry later point in time. How much hard work you do and how much innovation you put in your project. Actually, the purpose academic project is developed is not just delivering a project or a solution. It is about inculcating values and ideas in your mind which you can explore later point in time and bring revolution in the way things are done and add value and create solutions which will impact people at scale. So by keeping that in mind, you have to develop your academic project, and if you do that, developing a good project, sticking to timelines, giving quality deliverables, and finally delivering a good project will become your habit, and that will come very easily to you. I hope you will follow all these guidelines and your academic project will take you to great heights. Thank you very much. If you have any questions, please ask.
Thank you, Abdus Sami. It's a very nice presentation. I will ask all the participants to have some questions so that we can able to answer them.
If any queries, participants can ask in chat window.
Yeah, I'm looking the chat window actually. So till now there is no any questions from the participants actually.
Okay, then
Yeah.
Okay, sir.
I request
There
Venkat Subbareddy sir to close
Okay.
to make closing, sir.
Okay, sir. There was a RISE session on the behalf of G. Polarity Engineering College, Kurnool, and the Microcare Academy. I thanks today's speaker and participant for spending your valuable time. Due to the Holi, tomorrow, that is 8th March, there will be no session. We will meet with one more session on latest topic, AWS technology, on 9th March, that is Thursday evening, 7 p.m. sharp. Thank you, sir. Feedback link is already shared in the chat box.
Yeah, I will share it now. 1 minute, yes.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you.
thank you. Yeah. Feedback link was shared on the group. So, Abdus Sami, there is one question actually from the user. If you can just answer them, it can be good. They
Yes,
says,
please.
Yes.
what is the role of GitHub in the project development?
Yes, GitHub is a very important resource to check in your code which you have developed. If you provide GitHub link in your resume or CV later on when you are seeking your job, that becomes a differentiating factor. So everyone who is developing an academic project must make sure that they check in their code and they can showcase in your resume at the time you seek your job. So checking in your project in GitHub is very important, and that adds value to your CV. Definitely the one who has checked in code in GitHub and showing on CV and the one who has not done that will be considered differently by the interviewer.
Yeah. Yeah. Thanks, Abdus Sami bhai. We will wait for just like another 5 minutes if we have any other questions from the participants so that we can able to answer them. Yeah.
Yes,
Yes, sure, sure. Participants can ask any questions. Be feel free here in the chat window. You please go ahead. So our today's speaker, Samiuddin Sayed, he is from Hyderabad, Telangana, and presently he is working as a associate consultant in Tata Consultancy Services, Hyderabad. So hence participants are requested to utilize this opportunity. And of course, previously, our today's speaker, Samiuddin Sayed, worked as ex-technical specialist at Zensar Technologies and ex-senior analyst BI at Eton Technologies Private Limited. And he is having overall 15 plus years of experience in IT industry. Hence, we are having 10 minutes more time. If participants having any queries related to today's topic, please post in chat window. And participants are requested to fill the feedback.
Yeah. Okay, Abid sir, I think the participants are very much familiar with the sessions. It seems they have no more questions in their mind, and I already shared the form on the chat window. So I think we can conclude for today.
Yes. On behalf of GPREC and Microcare Academy, I am very much thankful to today's speaker. So I request and I hope we will be getting more sessions from you, sir,
Thank you very much.
in future.
Yes, of course, Abid sir. We will provide a lot of such sessions, inshallah.
Yes. Thank you very much for your time.
Okay, thank you. Bye bye,
Right.
and have a nice day.
Right. Have a nice day.